Morning, peeps. Morning and welcome. We here this morning. Yeah, man. Morning. Morning, early birds. So we're waiting on the host this morning because I am not going to be the host of the program this morning. So we're waiting on the host to join. We are waiting on the host to join the program this morning because I will be in the hot seat this morning. So actually waiting on the host to come on. So waiting on the host. Is it this? See the host coming in. Yes. So as I said, we're waiting on the host because I am not going to be the host of the show this morning. So let me introduce you to the host of the show this morning, Conrad O'Brien. Morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Colin Bell. How are you doing, sir?
I am fine, thank you. Let me give you the platform as the host, so you go right ahead.
All right, thanks a lot. Welcome to all our listeners and viewers and Portland Spice TV this morning. We invite you to like and share the channel. I'm indeed delighted to be the host of the program this morning and this morning, my special guest, of course, is the man himself, Colin Anthony SHACKA Bell, the PNP caretaker for Eastern Portland. And this morning, the spotlight is definitely on him because we want to plot the graph and to show how his journey has begun, hence where he is at today. Because it must be understood by all and sundry that one don't just get up and be a caretaker or a candidate on a frolic of his or her own. It's about the work and the various Shaka, I don't know what's happening. I'm hearing myself.
Continue. Sorry.
It's about the work that the party would have conducted by using various methodologies to arrive at their standard bearer. But this morning, my job here is for all of us, including myself, to get to know this man, SHACKA fame, Anthony Colin Bell, a little more. So without further ado, let me welcome Mr. Colin Bell to the platform of Portland Spice TV. Colin, it is awesome. I'm welcoming you to your own place, eh? Anyhow.
We walk out of my house, leave you like how I see the government walk out of the house, left the opposition, though, you know.
Please don't. Hi, Colin, how are you doing?
I am blessed, Conrad. I am blessed and highly favored, and I want to give thanks to the Lord Jesus Christ because it is He that had made it possible, and not me, not we ourselves. We must always remember that we are His people, sheep of His pasture, and we must enter into His gates with thanksgiving and into His courts with praise, knowing that the Lord Jesus Christ, He alone, is God. And as you mentioned the journey, Conrad, let me just remind my people that this journey is powered by the blood of Jesus Christ.
Indeed. And let me just pause to say this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us all rejoice and be glad in it. Colin, it's a pleasure once again. Colin, let me start off by getting a few, basic groundwork. Colin, how old are you?
I am 53 years old, Conrad.
You're 53 years old. What's your legal name?
My legal name is Colin Anthony Bell, and back in the 70s, everybody would also have a pet name. So my pet name is Ian. Anybody here call me Ian is normally from Shrewsbury or Fruitful Vale, and they are normally family who knows me very well. So Ian is the name that my mother called me.
Good. Were you born in the parish of Portland, Colin?
In fact, Obi, I was born in the operating theater of the Port Antonio Hospital. I'm a cesarean baby. Weighed 10 and 12 pounds at birth. After the doctors for 3 days.
Good. So you were quite a person with a little bit of meat on the bone from early out. From early out. So that said, Colin, you were born in the operating theater out there at the Portland Hospital in Portland. You're brought up in a nuclear family or a single parents home or what?
Conrad, I did not know my father until I was about 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was a single parent, and that is one of the things that forged the relationship between my mother and myself. And I have no qualms in telling people that my mother is my best friend.
Indeed.
Love her to death.
Indeed. One can understand. One can understand that, Colin. In terms of sibling, do you have siblings, Colin?
Oh, of course, Conrad. My father have 13 of us. My mother have 3 of us, of which I am the eldest. My mother gave birth to 2 boys and 1 girl, and we grew up together. My other sibling by my father's side, I know them by the way. I did live with my father for about 2 to 3 years, and so I got close to some of them based on living with him for that short period of time. And that short period of time was when my mother was going through a serious financial state, because Conrad, I grew up dirt poor. I used to go to school sometimes barefooted, and I like to tell people that one of the persons in politics that I look up to a lot is Damian Crawford. But when I heard him talk about having 3 pair of shoes, a church shoes, a going out shoes, and a school shoes, I used to laugh at him and say, "Man, you grew up rich." I had one.
And we'll get to those as we go along in the interview, Colin. We just want to get those little housekeeping matters out. So you forged that relationship with your father for about 2 years when your mother was going through some issues and so on. So you understand exactly what poverty is. In terms of your schooling, Colin, how did you start your early education and so on?
I started out with basic school in Fruitful Vale, and then I went to the Fruitful Vale All-Age School. After that, I went to Port Antonio Secondary at the time. And leave Port Antonio Secondary, I was one of the first set of students at the Portmore Art Academy. That time you used to get stipend to go to art. Yes. I don't know. Karen Riley is saying that there's no sound. I don't get that from anybody else. Everybody else seems to be all right. Morning, Vivian. So I went to the Art Academy. I leave art, and I signed up for the Jamaica Defense Force for a little while. And,
sorry, Colin. Let's clear that a bit. Let's ensure that the sound is coming through, because we want everybody to hear. Is that
I think the sound is good. Maybe Karen need to restart our computer or phone or something like that, or turn up our
Okay,
phone.
good.
She's the
All
only
right,
person.
good.
Mhm.
So you're a Port Antonio high man, all right?
Yes. And then I went to Portmore Art Academy, where I got a certificate in welding and fabrication. So I'm a certified welder. I don't
Yeah.
really do it because it is a job that is dangerous to the eyes. You know, I did it for a little while, but then I left it alone, and then I signed up for the Jamaica Defense Force.
You went into the Jamaica Defense Force.
I
But
did.
along the way, Colin, you would have done many certification, short professional courses, and so on and so forth.
And I did most of those with the University of the West Indies.
So you are
Right.
indeed a qualified person.
Right. So I am certified in management and supervisory. I'm a marketer. I have done courses in broadcasting. So yes, I am qualified.
Good. All right, Colin, quite a bit there. In terms of your you're a father, right?
Oh yes, I am a father.
And how many children do you, father?
I'm a father of 10. I have 6 girls and 4 boys.
Whoa. Colin, you follow your father's footstep, man.
The Bible said, "Be fruitful and multiply," and it also says, "Children are an heritage of the Lord. Blessed is the man that have his quivers full of them."
All right, great. All right, so those little things we decide to get out of the way. So now we move forward, and we dig now into the journey, your sojourn into politics. Give us your early background in the politics, Colin.
I got in politics, Hobie, quite some time, because where I grew up in Shrewsbury used to be a PNP enclave when I was a little, and then you have a place called Grants Gate, which used to be the GLP enclave. And from even before I could vote, once it's election time, all of us as young men living in Shrewsbury, we had to be militant out there, because those days political violence was a thing. And I tell people that many nights me sleep on Tippy shop top, and those for people from Shrewsbury would know who named Tippy, Mr. Gray. It's a shop down close to recreation ground, where when you're on the top of that shop, you could see up our place what we call Casherage, up a ring. So any vehicle coming into the community at night, we could spot it from there. And many nights I stayed on the lookout on that shop top, looking out for anything coming into the community. Because remember, back in those days, in the 90s, vehicles weren't prevalent. So when one vehicle coming at the community at night, we had to know. And we had to know from down our recreation and know who they are and what they are about. So I got into politics that type of way. But when Jigs Ennis came into West Portland, that was the time when I really got active. Because when Jigs came in, I think it was a GLP that was in, was it the GLP that was in power? Or the GLP at the constituency. And Jigs Ennis started a series of talent contests.
That was over in Western Portland.
Western Portland, because I really grew up in Western Portland. Shrewsbury is in Western Portland, Fruitfulville. And I started my MC journey back then. And I MC'd that series. It was about 40 odd contests that Jigs had right across the constituency. And I MC'd all of them. And that was my gateway into the politics. Never really got active in terms of representation or sitting on any management. But then after finishing my schooling, came back from the army, did some work as security guard for a little time. But from I was about 13, OB, I was playing a sound system called Mafia 5. And so I was in the entertainment business as well. And then I moved to Port Antonio when I started living on my own, leave mama place. In fact, the first I lived when I left my mother's place was in Swift River. That was also in West Portland. And then I moved out to Port Antonio. I started working with a company called Bees Productions Limited. And we used to produce some young artists from Portland. The office was in Port Antonio, so I got a house to rent in a place called Cottage Lane. So I lived in Cottage Lane for a little while, and then I moved to Bonebrook, where I rented a house from one of my mentors now, still a man called Marcus Barnett. And when I left that house, I lived at that rented house for about 5 years. And when I left that house, I moved into my own house. In fact, active politics now started when I started on in radio and media about 1993. Started working with Caribbean Satellite Network, a company out of Miami. With I don't know if you remember Mikey Dread at the control.
Absolutely, yes.
Was brought into that by a brethren of mine called Norbert Bradshaw. Captain Bradshaw is a marine pilot, and he hooked me up with Mikey Dread, and we start do some media work, and then start working with KLS, start working with Satcom Cable, where I was the programs director at Satcom Cable. And when Dr. Donald Rod came into the politics, I was one of his top supporters, Conrad. And I supported Dr. Rod, and everybody started knowing my politics. But as is known, I've always been a straight shooter. And Conrad, if I don't tell you, say, me think your eye red, me not think it red. Because what I feel, I am going to tell you. I'm a praying man, and I ask every day to make me one of his loudspeaker, speak through me to his people. And I think he has been doing that over the years. So, not in radio, I would have in radio and television, because I tell you something. When we started with Satcom Cable in 1995, we started a community channel. And for a number of years, that was the #1 community channel in Jamaica. We had news, we had all kind of different programs. When I got the job, one of the first things that I did, Conrad, I used to love watching educational program back then. And you're a big man, you remember Dennis Hall used to host the school challenge.
Absolutely, yes.
And let me tell you about pioneerism. I always said to myself that time Titchfield was the high school in the parish. And I always said, why Titchfield can't win school challenge quiz? Them always I get licked out in the first round. And when I got the job at Satcom, I said, you know what I am going to do? I am going to start a primary school quiz competition.
So hold on. Go ahead, Shaka. Go ahead.
That was the first primary school quiz competition on the island. And I started that competition. It was sponsored a lot of time by Jamaica National Building Society. It was sponsored by the Portland Cooperative Credit Union. It was sponsored by Wisinco. And what we did, Conrad, is that we had that competition on television. And everybody used to watch it. It used to be so big, Conrad, that when it come on a Wednesday or a Tuesday, and I must mention Captain Baker, Maxine Samuels, Martin Wyndham. Those were my support staff at the time. Tamika. And then we used to have people who come in and hosted, Yanil Wood, a young lady named Searchwell. And we started that competition, and the competition took off.
Yes.
And as a result of that, Conrad, the first year when Titchfield got to the school challenge quiz final, every member of the team was product of the Portland Primary School Quiz competition. In fact, one of the present coach, Mr. Chase, won the school challenge, the primary school quiz competition maybe 2 or 3 times with Norwich Primary as a student. So we believe that we could start something from young and bring it up and it materialize. You hear what I'm saying?
So, Mr. Bell, what you're saying here, and it's instructive, you were able to do as a Port Antonio high man, you were able to do something for the premier high school in Portland that past students of that school weren't able to do.
God, I don't know if you want to put it that way, because let me tell you something.
No. But it is important. It is important because there you go. You not your alma mater, but you were so embedded with that high school in Portland that you did something that they were able to benefit from in a big way, and you must be commended, SHACKA, because, and I put it out there because at times some people who have the privilege of going to the traditional, quote unquote, traditional high school tend to look down on those who attend the newer high school, or indeed even the secondary school. So I'm just putting it there for what it's worth. I mean, you know, you work with everybody and so on, but just something to note so that the students at Port Antonio High and all the other high schools in Portland can understand that, listen, it's not where you attend, but it's what you do. As Mr. Twigs, the former Minister of Education, used to say, grow where you're planted.
The truth is, Conrad, back then it was only Titchfield who was entering school challenge quiz. And even now, I mean, I want to see Port Antonio High and Happy Grove start entering these things. And it goes to say, Conrad, one of the things that is forefront of my mind is Portland and the people of Portland. Whatever I can do to make Portland shine is what I want to do. Because one of my mantra is the next thing I want to do is to see a school from Portland win the DeCosta Cup or the Ben Francis Cup.
All right, good. So that's the situation, as it were, SHACKA. So you started there with that competition. You started there, and you talk about the journey with Jigs Ennis and so on, and how you got into media to broadcasting and so on and so forth. You have also worked with a radio station in Portland in your most recent media experience.
I spent about 10 years with KLS as well, Conrad.
KLS, yes. What program did you host at KLS?
All right, so I was hosting a program called Bar Vibes that was sponsored by Ray and everywhere. We used to go right around the island every Saturday night.
I remember it, yes. I remember it well.
I used to host that, and then I host a program on a Sunday evening called Breezing. And I also host a program, trying to remember the name of the program that Tony Young used to do, and Tony Young left. I host that program, I think it was 1 o'clock Sunday to 6 o'clock. For about a year, I host that program as well on KLA. But Styles FM, we really started at Styles FM when it was just coming online, and we built it. In fact, I worked at Styles FM free for about 5 years, and after that, they started paying a stipend, which I had no interest in, you know, because what I said to the manager then, I for work for free than my kids here that I am working for this kind of stipend, you know, and a little bit for me for it to be palatable, because, you know, I said to him back then that my being here is not about the money. My being here is about my love for broadcasting and giving information to the people that listens to the station, you know. So I was there up until December 2022, when my information said that they were threatened that if they don't take me off of the radio station, their license won't be renewed. So it wasn't anything that I did. I did not breach any protocol or anything of the sort. And
so SHACKA, you're saying that your departure from Style FM was rooted in partisan politics in terms of threat, being issued to the station, political threat?
Yes, yes.
Wow, 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 wow. That is something I'm sure that a lot of your listeners are probably hearing this for the first time right here on Sportland Spice channel. So that said, Colin, the hard politics, the
Yes.
getting involved into the party politics, your declarant for the People's National Party as a member, when that started.
All right. And Conrad, we're not covering up anything this morning because
Mm-hmm.
when this program is finished, I want people to be clear. I think it was in 2003
Mm-hmm.
I ran as an independent candidate
Yes.
because at that time, as I said, I was in the media. I would have interviewed every prime minister since after Michael Manley, Edward
So
Seaga,
interviewed PJ, Portia,
and
Eddie Seaga,
PG, Portia, Peter Phillips, Bruce
Bruce
Golden,
Golden.
only
Mm-hmm.
unless I know interview.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, Peter wasn't quite a prime minister, but party leader, yes? Mm-hmm.
But I interviewed them as well, Omar Davis, you name them, Darrell
Mm-hmm.
Var, all of them. I interviewed all of them because, as I said to you, the community channel back then was the #1 community channel in Jamaica. So when I look around and talk to everybody, I wanted more for Port Antonio. I wasn't a member of any political party at the time, but I was always a supporter of the People's National Party. So in 2003, I ran as an independent candidate in the Port Antonio division. When it get to about 2007, then I made attempts to join, not just made attempt, I joined the People's National Party because I said I want to be a member of this movement. So I joined the party then. In 2012, I threw my hat in the ring to be the councillor for the St. Margaret's Bay division. So that would cover Shrewsbury, Fruitful Vale, where I came from.
Mm-hmm.
Up until
that
about...
that would be over in Western Portland.
Right. So up until about 2 months before the election, I was the candidate.
Yes.
And the MP candidate for at that time, he would have lost in the general election and decided that he wanted somebody else. And they threw me out. They did not give me the seat. Somebody else ran the seat and lost by, about 7 votes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I basically start doing my work on the ground, reaching out and preaching the politics on the radio. Because the truth is, I taught the politics on the radio straight. And my mantra is the truth. And yes. I tell people every day, I have no interest in being balanced. For me, anybody who is trying to be balanced is an hypocrite. Because if you're going to say SHACKA do X, and then you're going to search for a reason to say OB do Y, it's not what you're interested in. You're interested in to soothing everybody's ego. Me not do that. Me talk the truth. So on the radio, and I'm talking the truth. And then when Damian Crawford, when Dr. Bloomfield was murdered, because I'll back up a little.
Before you move to that, SHACKA, just hold stick a pin there, because you said that you were in a division, you did not get the nod at the time. You continue your work at that point in time for the People's National Party, although you did not get the nod?
Yes, I did.
You did. Is there any truth? Because, whenever we are preparing to do this in this program, we do some groundwork and we, hear things on the ground or so on. I want you to lay the rest this morning, SHACKA.
Yep.
Did you at any time made an application to join the Jamaica Labour Party?
Never. Never did and never will. I tell you something, Obi, and I tell people all the while. There's 2 things in life that I cannot become. I cannot become a homosexual, and I cannot become a Labourite. And listen, I'm not saying that I would never join another political party, but it cannot be the GLP. And I want to tell you why. As a youth in the 80s, as a little boy, I remember the 1980 election. I was young, but I remember. I can tell you the slogans. PNP used to say stand firm, and GLP says stand firm and eat worm when they hide the food to get power. And anybody from Shrewsbury can remember this. After the 1980 election, a truckload of salt mackerel was dumped around a Chris Corner because they decided to starve the Jamaican people to ensure that they get rid of Michael Manley.
I remember the schoolboy coming from school at that same time to SHACKA there in Mandeville, and I won't call the supermarket names, but we remember that there were truckloads of flour and so on that had to be dumped because they were packed with what we call weevil.
They hide them, and I remember my mother sent me to a shop to buy bread, and I had to buy a pack of Stay Free to get a bread. I have to buy paint because they married the stuff. A certain organization was put in place that is still here now today in Jamaica to basically
the private sector organization of Jamaica.
I never call them name, but I am based on those things. I cannot become a laborer. And I heard the argument a number of times that I applied to the GLP. Never will and never did.
So the people who are watching, I know a number of people are watching or listening. The truth is that it is important for me to put this to rest, SHACKA, because you do have some naysayers. The interview is about you, and we'll keep it there. But you do have some naysayers, and these are some of the things that they would say. SHACKA applied for to join the Jamaica Labour Party, and you are burying that this morning.
Live from the pit of hell.
SHACKA, I have a few more things that I want to get to that I'll put to you, but let's let's come.
You had asked me about getting really into the active part of politics.
Yeah, that's where we're staying.
You know that when one of the things that I used to criticize about is the road from Harborview to Port Antonio. I used to go on bad pan radio about that, and I used to mostly talk about from Port Antonio to Hector's River. And I criticized my party because my party was in power at the time. We had councillor, we had mayor, we had member of parliament, and the road was bad. And I was on radio and on television, OB, and I talk about it day in, day out. And I remember when the most honorable Portia Simpson Miller came to government, formed the government in 2012. It was something we put front and center. In fact, when she was in the runoff with Dr. Peter Phillips, I interviewed her maybe about twice. And every time I interviewed her, I brought up that road. And that's why I love that woman so much in her OB. Love her. Wow. Because when she won, she got to work and decided that she was going to fix the road from Harborview into Port Antonio.
Everything was put in place.
Right. The technocrats said to her that to fix that road doesn't really make much sense because the road have a lot of the present alignment of a lot of deficiencies. Where coastline erosion was one of the problems in places like White Horses, places like Mansion Hill and Long Bay. And of course, there are a couple of places where the road is in a swamp. When you talk about Bowden and you talk about Ardley Crossing down there in St. Thomas, where anytime it rained, the road blocked. So the technocrats said, build a new road. The new road was designed, the money was found, and the contract was signed in December of 2015. Yeah?
Absolutely. And they made that vow rather.
Yes. And as I said to you, I begged her for that road. Begged her. As I said, I think maybe about 3 times I interviewed her, if my memory serves me well. And every interview, I spoke to her about that road. And she made the commitment. Like she also made a commitment to the people in the Rio Grande Valley that if her councillor won in the Rio Grande Valley, which was Benny White at the time, she would fix the road from Port Antonio to Moortown, and she did. I want to let them know remember that. But Obi, when the GLP came in power in 2016, and Audley Shaw collected the money that Portia Simpson Miller negotiated for, the man come to the people of Jamaica and said it doesn't make economic sense to build a new road from Harborview to Port Antonio.
Yeah, we remember.
Now, may I have to give recognition where it is due. James Robertson, the GLP MP for Western Portland, raised Cain over that. Dr. Fenton Ferguson raised Cain over it, make a lot of noise. And I went to my MP, the late Dr. Linville Bloomfield, and I said, what are you saying? Oh, you not say nothing. The man them don't say make noise. A chain is as strong as its weakest link. Part of the road must come to Portland, so you must talk. And he was bobbing and weaving, and I said to him, let us protest, make we walk from Hector's River to Port Antonio. And when we now get over with that,
so Colin, sorry to butt in. I know it is important, but these are some of the things that would have propelled you to where you are. Just to interject there, you mentioned Portia Simpson Miller and the road from Harborview to straight into Portland.
yes,
It is similarly, she signed off or she went abroad when she was criticized to have to have online meeting to get that hospital down in Western Jamaica, the Children's Hospital, and I am putting it on record here today, as I have several times, that hospital must be named the Portia Simpson Miller Hospital. It is her legacy.
And they must give her credit. This present government must stop behaving like a demability and give the credit where the credit is due.
Exactly, Shaka. I don't want to get sidetracked, so let us skip it back. But it's important for us to identify those things. So the question is answered. Never applied for membership for the Jamaica Labour Party, and you had no interest at all in doing so then, and worse now.
And will never be. I can speak to the future too.
all right, good. So, so no.
But I want I want to just finish on the road. And when I went to Dr. Bloomfield, I said, "Make we march from Hector's River." I wasn't any weird with it, and I said to him, "Make we even do it from Fairy Hill." And I realized when I said Fairy Hill, he was a little more receptive, and I kept at him till him agree for a march from Fairy Hill, because the road was in a deplorable condition, the money was there, and the road in a we marched from Fairy Hill to Port Antonio, including in the march was Councillor Dexter Rowland, Councillor Wayne Mackenzie, Benny White, part of the march, Julian King, yours truly. We walked Port Antonio to ensure that we get the road started. Dr. Bloomfield gave a speech in Port Antonio, Conrad, and people will tell you that was his first real political speech. At the time, he sounded like a politician. And Jesus Christ, Obi, a week after, he was murdered in his house. Murdered in his house, Conrad.
A week after that march.
He was murdered in his house. And the government of Jamaica buried him like a common man, a sitting member of parliament. And I call on the Prime Minister.
They didn't even attend his funeral.
The Prime Minister did not attend. And I'm saying, Obi, at least Dr. Bloomfield should have been given an official funeral.
Exactly, if not a state funeral, unofficial.
State funeral. But let's say you say I'm a PNP and you want give the man at least an official funeral with his casket wrapped in the Jamaican flag. It is an indictment on this government.
Good, Shaka. So we fast forward now. You full-fledged in the PNP politics. You were now named the candidate for the division that you ran the other day in.
I don't even want to go there, so I think we're jumping over something very important, because after Dr. Bloomfield's funeral,
share with me.
Yeah, after Dr. Bloomfield's funeral, Damian Crawford was installed as the.
Oh yes, yes, very important, Shaka. I'm happy you remind me. Damian Crawford was installed as the candidate for the PNP, and that's when you also advance your notoriety, because you played a significant role. People were hearing you more on all the media houses, doing the interviews and so on. What role did you play in that election?
When Damian came, the entire hierarchy of the People's National Party was in East Portland, and they were looking for somebody with the capacity to take Damian around the constituency. I was asked to do it. When I was asked by Michael Phillips to be the road manager for Damian Crawford, I didn't ask the working hours. I didn't ask if it was a paid position. I didn't ask a question, but said, yes, I am ready. In fact, Obi, at that time, I was the largest chicken farmer, the broiler chicken in the parish. And I just bought a Nissan Caravan, a bus, to do my farm work. Sold the vehicle before and buy a bus. And when I took on the role to be the road manager, I never asked for a vehicle, I never asked for nothing. I started using my bus. And I remember one day we were going to Millbank, and when we got to Windsor, people wanted to go. And I opened the trunk of the bus back and them load it up. And I remember when we go around to Ginger House, Damian called me on my phone, because I was driving in front of him. And him called me on my phone and he said, Bridgin, your bus are going to mash up in this, you know. You know, say your bus are going to mash up. I said, boy, if I saw, you know. Him said to me, say,
commitment.
Eh?
Commitment you showed.
Him said to me, say, me are going to make them give you a vehicle. I said, yeah, man, no problem. Because I never care. I wanted to ensure that East Portland was returned to the PNP, and I would have give everything I got to do that. And we did the road, but a lot of people didn't understand, Obi. Some people thought that I was the manager and I was determining where Damian go day after day, day in, day out. No, I was simply the road manager. Every morning I was given a list where to take him and the time schedule. And being somebody in the entertainment industry, I understand road management, because I have been road manager for quite a number of artists traveling around the world. So I know to conform to schedule and all of that. So I was doing my best at conforming to the schedule. A lot of people get upset with me sometimes, because we would be in an area and I would go to Damian and say, time. And
yeah, because you have to work with schedule, yes.
And you would move on the time, and people would have quarreled with me. I said, boy, Shaka, you know what, Damian stay, sorry, you know what, Damian go there. So it was not me. All I was doing was carrying out the orders from Party Central and getting him to the places that he's supposed to go to at the time that they asked me to get him.
Because you also had limited amount of time for him to cover the constituency.
It was a 6 weeks rush. It was a 6 weeks
course. We call it a crash course if you were dealing with something academic. And
I remember Obi, the labor rights were saying, for 30 years the PNP did nothing in East Portland. And I had to find time to go on the radio program to defend the PNP time in government in East Portland. Because
I remember one in particular where you talk about the courthouse.
Yeah, I had to lay down a number of things that we achieved during our time in government during that 30 years. And therefore, that was when people started looking at me. In fact, that is how I got into the fellowship division. Because moving around with Damian, people start coming to me and say, yo, if you come run that division, if you come run that division. And me, I said to them, say, no, but Comrade White, they're here. And then there was a runoff between Comrade White and Comrade Crossdale. Comrade Crossdale, because of her job, had to back out. And when Comrade Crossdale back out, me didn't even know. When people start calling me and say, Winsome can't run again, you have to come. So it was the people of the Rio Grande Valley who called me and begged me to come into the Rio Grande Valley.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
2019 was really the hardcore step into the politics.
2019, when you went into that division, what's the name of the division, Shaka?
I didn't go into the fellowship division until 2020, but in terms of going out there with Damien, putting everything in, and then, you know, the labor them start saying, Obi, we're not telling you a long time, say SHACKA PNP, but I've always been a PNP, I've never been anything else. Never been anything else. You know? So, therefore, at that time now, when the people start to beg me to come into the valley, it was when the runoff did not materialize. I made a call to Damien. Sorry. And I said to Damien, people are calling me to come into the valley. Damien said to me, what is the relationship with you and Benny White? And I said, we have a good relationship. He said to me, call Benny. And I hung up from Damien and I called Benny. Conrad, you're going sideways. Conrad? So I called Benny and I said to Benny, people in the valley are calling me to come there to represent them. Benny said to me, well, do what you want to do. And I started going to meetings with the people in the Rio Grande Valley. And every meeting that I go to, Conrad, I would have called Benny and said, them call me to a meeting this evening. Them call me to a meeting tomorrow. Them so call me to
your sound, I'm not hearing you at all. Your sound gone way down. Don't know what's.
Is it back now?
Are you hearing me clearly?
I'm hearing you loud and clear, Conrad. Are you hearing me?
I don't know what happened. The sound has just gone.
You just took a call?
Very, very low on my gadget here, and
you just took a call?
Hello?
If you just took a call, you need to mute. You need to tap the speaker, stop it, and then come back.
Sorry, repeat that, Shaka.
I am saying if you had taken a call a while ago, where you see the speaker on your phone, just tap on it and then tap on it again, and then you'll get the sound back up. So maybe because the call you took a while ago, that is what would have
Go ahead.
You hear me now?
Go ahead.
You hear me now, Conrad?
I am hearing you, it's just that it is low.
It's because of the call that you just took.
Hold on, Shaka. Let
me see if I can help you out. We're just trying to get back Conrad's sound up.
Let me just come out and then
All right, not a problem. So I was telling you about the sojourn into the fellowship division, and I would have every meeting that comrades in the fellowship division called me to, I would have informed Comrade White about that. But it was not about me wanting to go into the fellowship division. People need representation, and as a comrade, they reached out to me and I accept the overtures. In 2020, I was given the seat by the region to be the standard bearer for the fellowship division. And I started doing the work in the fellowship division from that time straight. Never stop, never leave the people, always been on the ground with them, putting in the work. And during that time, after Damien decided that he would not return to representational politics in East Portland, I basically started looking at East Portland under Colin Bell and the things that I would love to see. Peter White, you're saying that you have made a strong case for the PNP to retain you as their standard bearer for the upcoming general election. But will they keep you? Well, you see, Peter, not Peter, it's a White. My thing is about the people of East Portland and what is best for the constituency of East Portland and who is going to move the constituency forward. Not somebody who wants to be MP for themselves, but I want to be MP for all the people of East Portland, including those people who are GLP. Because what we have in East Portland now presently is a member of parliament who is member of parliament for only GLP, and not just GLP, but GLP close associate. Because the regular laborite who they don't know don't get no blight. And political victimization should be one of the biggest sin in politics. And what is happening in East Portland is a lot of political victimization by the present GLP administration in East Portland. And I can say that because I have the proof and the evidence of the political victimization that is taking place in East Portland by the people who are leading East Portland. And as I said, the political victimization should be one of the biggest sins. We have Conrad back. Yeah, Conrad.
Sorry about that, Shaka. So indeed, you mentioned all of those, Shaka. It's your journey has been a very, 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 very interesting one, Shaka. We have been chronicling from whence you came and where you are now.
Right.
So and then after Damien's situation, now you were made the candidate for the
fellowship division.
And that was in 2020, right?
Right, but before that, Conrad, I had applied to be the standard bearer for East Portland, in 2020. Yes, when Damien decided he would not come back to East Portland to run, we were looking for candidates. And I'm going to take a little bit of tail out of school now. When Damien left, we at the executive, because I was one of the vice chairman, we at the executive made a conscious decision to touch base with the people on the ground to find out what it is that they would want as it relates to a candidate, what kind of candidate they were looking for. And the feedback came 100%. The people wanted a homegrown candidate, a candidate who they can relate to, somebody who they know, somebody who feel their pain, somebody who understand what they are going through on the ground in East Portland. So I applied, and another comrade also applied, both of us living in East Portland, both of us sitting on the East Portland executive at the time. He also applied. We had a meeting with the hierarchy at the party. And one of the reasons why I'm not calling the person name on the platform this morning is because of his job situation. Sorry. And because of his job situation, he could not go forward. So I was the Portland man, born, live in the parish, in the constituency that was left. However, the decision was taken not to give me the seat. And Conrad, Bishop Purcell Jackson was brought in as the candidate. And I, as a party man and as a team player, gave him my full support. And it was while he was the candidate that I was the candidate for the fellowship division. So the fellowship division came after my application for the constituency. The 2020 election took place and the results are well known.
Yes.
It was the lowest vote that a candidate got for the PNP in East
In
Portland.
the history? In the history?
East Portland, yes. And I tell you, it was so low that the votes that we got in the local government election, the just concluded local government election, was way more than what we got in that general election. And you know that normally happens.
And that is important. That is important, Mr. Bell, because indeed you're on a building mode, and you're saying that when you look at the numbers that was turned out in the local government election, in the general election of 2020, granted it was low countrywide, but in East Portland in particular, you're saying that the PNP had polled the lowest ever in the constituency.
So much so that the February 26th election, we got way more than what we got in the election. Yes. Right.
What's the exact breakout on that, Shaka?
I don't. Well, the figures are public. I think in the general election we got about 6,300 and little bit, and in the local government election we got 6,700 plus. Right. So we maybe over 400 votes more.
And just pick a pin there, Shaka. In terms of the numbers, when you look at the number, the differential in the constituency, the PNP versus the JLP, what's the number there? You have that off the tip of your finger?
What I will tell you is that in terms of overall, we lost by less than 500 votes.
Okay. So that's work in progress.
Yeah, right. I'm not doing no work for nobody. Anybody want to know, make them go search it.
All right, cool. So that said, Mr. Bell, the numbers that you are working on now, in terms of your enumeration and so on, that's going on fine.
The numbers are coming together. We know what it is that we need. We are doing enumeration, but not just enumeration, OB. We basically going out there because we have a lot of people in East Portland who have not voted in a long time. And we are going out there to ensure that we touch base with those people. In terms of that finer details, I would want to get into that. In terms of the numbers, as I said, I'm not doing the work for anybody because there are a lot of other people. This is not a PNP platform per se, where it's just we. Yeah? Everybody.
Colin, I want to put it to you. Some of your naysayers would look at the numbers, as it were, and said basically, Colin ran as a candidate for the division, and he did not win that division. So by virtue of that, it stands to reason that he should not go forward as the standard bearer for the constituency. How would you respond to that, Colin?
You see, Obi, the fellowship division, and if people be true and go do the research and look at it, the fellowship division has always voted for the party in power, except once. The only time the party in power had lost the fellowship division is in 2003. 2003, the PNP candidate then was Derek Sampson, and we lost by about 7 votes. That between 7 and 10. That's the only time the party in power lose the fellowship division. So the fellowship division is not what you call a PNP division. It is a swing division. And it's a division that, because when we lost it 2003, 2007, when the GLP win, them win it again. Yeah? Because 2003, Benny White won it for the GLP. He crossed the floor and run for the PNP in 2007 when Bruce Golding won. We lost it. when the PNP won in 2012, Benny win it back for the PNP. And 2016, when the GLP win it back. And we didn't have an election.
So it's what you call a true swing division. No, Colin, I put that to you because that's coming across because as I said before, we do some work on the ground and we glean some information. Now, there's also the flip side of that, where a number of persons, an overwhelming majority of persons in this case, is saying that when Eastern Portland was down, nobody wanted it. Colin was there, and Colin now built the constituency where it seems very winnable, and some persons would want to, however minute the number is, but those few naysayers would want to get you out. Speak to that for me, Colin, please.
When after the 2020 election, Obi, and the then candidate leave us, the argument came back that we now vote for nobody again where we don't know. The people wanted somebody who they know, who knows East Portland, who understand the issues of East Portland. I went out and I started talking to people who I know, and I said, come run for the PNP. In fact, two persons, one of them still living in East Portland right now, told me yes. And when I start going to them, I said, but if you have to run, you have to come out now, brother. People have to know, say you have to run. And I start going and calling the man name, and everywhere I go and call the man name, it get traction. People say, yes, that's a good man, because at the time as the candidate of the fellowship division, I did not want to throw my hat in the ring, because I know that if you are the MP candidate and the council, they will come at you like a ton of bricks. And when the man the back down, I go find another man. And the man say yes, and the man come and do a little piece of work, and I guess do him assessment and realize that the thing don't look so sexy. So both of them out for me. And I said to myself that, listen, for years, I have a vision of a developing Port Antonio, growing East Portland. And I have the passion, and I love the people. And I want to see the people in East Portland live their best life. I want to see opportunities come to the people of East Portland, opportunities for job, opportunities for business creation. So guess what? If nobody don't want to take it up, I am going to take it up. And Obi, I went out and I start punching. And I start bringing recognition to the constituency. I start talking about the things that the people want to see done. And at one point, Obi, people laugh off of me, you know. People have said to me, say, Shaka, say PNP don't have you alone out there. But you know, shut up your mouth and go sit down.
It's similarly to what, remember, the same argument was carried through when they said that the PNP headquarters would be a museum and so on and so forth. It was what you were feeling over there in East Portland as well.
A friend of mine came to me one time, and the man said to me, say, Shaka, if you have two more man, don't you talk like you, PNP would have stand a chance. Because what they were trying to do was trying to silence me and say, go sit down because are you alone and make PNP look. Then sometime Comrade Mackenzie would have get in at the council and get her forward. Comrade Dexter Rowland would have make a talk and get her forward. You know? So the things start coming up. Comrade Natalie Wright would have go up on the road with me. And when we highlight some things, sometimes we're going in the Fury division. And I said to her, say, talk on the cameraman, and she talk, and you know, we start get little bounce, and people start listen to a little bit, and we have that platform. I was still on Styles, and people that listen to me, and people that call me and say, Shaka, go on, do your thing, you know, we start get little encouragement here and there. But nobody wanted to come because guess what? Everybody afraid that they've asked them. And when we start going, in fact, a businessman in Port Antonio came to me one at the time, and the man said, yo, you're the bravest man I know. I said, why you say that? The man said, brother, you're out there take on them people, yeah? You take on the dinosaur them. You're brave. I will never ease up, Obi. I said to somebody Thursday evening, I said, I put the safety of my family and my friends on the line, making sure that PNP was still relevant in East Portland. And I did the work. And when the time came, when application was open for candidates, I applied. Nobody else, Obi, applied. And I want to say it again. Application was open and nobody but Colin Bell applied to the People's National Party to be the candidate for Eastern Portland because nobody else wanted East Portland.
Excellent, Shaka. And that gives me a nice segue into where I want to go. Mr. Colin Anthony Bell, Shaka Faye, you're a member of the People's National Party, a standard bearer, indeed. Is it that the PNP just look and say, boy, hear what happened, we're going to give Shaka the seat? Or is there a body of work and a way of how they assess, how they select candidate, and you would have met those criteria?
As I said to you, Obi, application was open in February for 2 weeks.
Yes.
I applied. I had to meet the review committee of the region, which is region, which consists of St. Thomas, Portland, and St. Mary. So I went to the regional panel and I passed that level. After that, I had to go through an integrity commission that them scan your background, make sure you don't have no adverse.
You're clean. In other words, you're clean.
You are clean bill of health. And I passed. I also had to go on the ground, meet with the comrade workers, meet with the party supporters, and ensure that I had their stamp of approval. I did that. The party came in, did their sounding. The party did a poll that showed Colin Bell would beat Anne-Marie Vaz in a general election. And in fact, you know, Obi, I tell you something. That poll that showed Colin Bell beating Anne-Marie Vaz had me losing in the fellowship division, you know. Poll, I think Anne-Marie Vaz was at 29% and Colin Bell was at 33.9%. Because I want to remind people that it is.
So it takes you just outside of the margin of error there.
Exactly. And I want to say to people
on the national stage. Yes.
That was for a general election. It wasn't for a local election. Right? So all that had to be done. When that was done, there were some people who were saying that they don't think Colin Bell is the best candidate, so the party must do some more work. Yes. And the party went ahead, did some more soundings. In fact, bringing Colin.
Hence Colin, because I want people to know, you know, we're spending a little bit of time on this.
Yes,
hence, you were not one of those who were presented rather at the national conference, because the party believed that there was another body of work to be done to ensure that you're indeed the right man, the person that the people within the constituency is happy with, and indeed the People's National Party stand the best chance of taking back Eastern Portland. Am I correct?
Yes. So I was, even though I was the sole applicant for the constituency. When candidates were being presented across the island, I was not presented because people were asking questions and the party wanted to find the answers to those questions. People showed concern and the party took all of them in consideration and said, we're holding off, we're doing some more work. And they did the work, and it was in November that they said, listen, We have done everything that all the naysayers have asked. Anybody who had concern. And I must commend the party, Obi, because they listen. Everybody who step up and said them have an issue, the party stop and listen and go back, go look at the concern. And in November, the party made a decision that after all the soundings, the poll, the getting together with party members, we found Colin Bell to be a candidate that the people of East Portland, because what is important, Obi, is the masses. Is the majority important. Because the party go as far as touch base with all the members of the party in the constituency and find out what are their views.
So the I's were indeed dotted and the T crossed, Colin, and indeed you emerge as the standard bearer for the People's National Party over there in Eastern Portland. Now, Colin, that said, the People's National Party, through your party president and opposition leader, find favor with you, recognize your talent, recognize that you're a worker, and indeed actually kicked you up the value chain, so to speak, by way of making you a deputy spokesperson on culture and the creative industry. So therefore,
before you go there, yes. I want to explain to people that a number of work was done before the people of East Portland overwhelmingly said, listen, we are going with SHACKA this time. I'll bring you back, Obi, to that same road situation when they finally decide to start the road between Harborview and Port Antonio. And the people of the Fairhill division and the Mansion Hill division were suffering immense dust and lack of water.
Absolutely.
It was Colin Bell and the team PNP in East Portland that went out there.
The students that were reaching home 12 o'clock in the night.
Well, I'm not even reached this yet. We went out and we made representation. The students, in fact, Obi, when I got the call about these students, the MP was called before, And my information is that a young man in the office tell the people, say, no go so. And I picked, when I was called, the first thing I did, I picked up my phone and I called the principal of Happy Grove.
Yes.
And when I called the principal confirmed everything to me. And I started to work on it. Get on all the radio station, get on Beyond the Headlines. And I did
my program straight up News Talk 93 FM. Yes.
I didn't just complain. I gave the suggestion. I said to the government, send over a JUTC bus or get some and subsidize it. That was done. The latter was done, Conrad. And he's the problem of the children. And I tell people something. You see, after that, Obi, people coming to me in droves. SHACKA, you know you don't know me, and you don't know say my pit nigga Happy Grove, but you see what you just do? He's my pain. Me say, what happened? My child used to come home 10 o'clock, and since you made representation, I can sleep at night. I can go to my bed 7 o'clock because my child is home by 5. You understand?
Excellent. And
that came from a number of people. I tell you more. When the start going and I start making representation for a massive project like that road project, Obi, no public consultation meeting was held until I start talking about it. They had a meeting at Boston Primary School. I went to the meeting and I said to the minister and the contractors that you have marled the road, you have rolled it, and it is ready. Why don't you put on a layer of asphalt on the road so that the dust will cut down and people can have an easier life? They said that it was only 2 inches of asphalt that was going on the road, and therefore they can't put on 1 inch. I start making a lot of noise. that the government should allow them to do 3 inches. I don't know if the government allowed the 3. I don't think so. But a layer of asphalt started in place like Boston, because my complaint to them was that it's food served at Boston, and a dog eat the food, a people eat the food, and therefore Boston, as the #1 gastronomy spot in Jamaica, must be given some respect. The contract.
Indeed, Shaka. Just to remind our listeners, our viewers, that you're indeed glued into a riveted discussion here, an interview with Colin Anthony Shaka Bell, the standard bearer over there in Eastern Portland, actually just chronicling a sojourn to where he's at now as the standard bearer for the constituency of Eastern Portland, with yours truly, Conrad O'Brien, the fireman. Shaka, it's important that you mention those things. As I said before, that shows that the PNP hierarchy, they had done their work. They have crossed the T's and dotted the I, because all that you said there, those are the work that you did that would have endeared you to the people of Eastern Portland, and I dare say maybe to the general population of Portland, indeed.
Hold on, Wilson. Obi, let me say this. That when I made the representation for Boston, they paved Boston. School was supposed to be opening in September. I pick up my phone and I called the 2 contractors. I said to the first one, pave in front of Boston Primary, because the children of Boston Primary in OB was getting sick because...
Can understand. Respiratory problem and all of those. A lot of our people suffer with sinus, asthma, etc., etc., etc.
I called the second contractor and I said, may I beg you, pave in front of Draper's Basic School and Draper's Primary. And they did. And Obi, I don't want to forget the role that the current leader played in assisting the children of Happy Grove. Because we're talking about the children, and I don't want to forget it. The current leader came to East Portland on a tour. And when he came, some people have the view that he shouldn't go up on the bad road. And he came, did a tour, and myself and the late Comrade Regional Chair, Comrade Dixon, got back on the case, and we brought back the Comrade leader to East Portland and brought him to Happy Grove High School under my insistence. So the Comrade leader understand that I am a go-getter. When me want it done, me want it done.
Colin, I hear the phone ringing in the background. I want to take a few calls, but before we get there, let us just ask the caller just to hold a bit, so we just conclude the interview, and then we can have a Q&A. You can call, ask the candidate questions, or if there's any suggestion that you have, you may put them forward as well. Colin, you mentioned the work that you have done, and certainly the PNP, through its sounding, the canvassing, etc., etc. Those would be what they take into consideration based on what the people are saying, and it shows up in the numbers in terms of the polls and so on that they would have done. And as I was saying earlier, that as a result of all of those things, your leader would have also identified other skill set that you possess, you know, in terms of the entertainment industry, the orange economy, and so on and so forth, that you're out there. You're all over the radio stations. I have you said quite a few times, put out the information there. You're elsewhere, all over, explaining. And you talk about this $30 billion US.
Yeah.
That is out there to be made, and so on, just 1%. And as a result of that, the leader made a deputy spokesperson. That is to say, if we were in government, you would at least wind up as junior minister in government if it holds. Colin, how do you feel based on the confidence that your leader has basically, you know, expressed in you, and what are you picking up on the ground? How do you favor your chances?
Conrad, let me tell you something. I am a patriotic Jamaican. And I believe that I was privileged to do civics when I was going to school. So my name is Jamaica first. And being in the entertainment field, the creative industry, for all of my working life,
yes,
I got an opportunity at Satcom Cable, being the program director, which I told you about earlier, to a lot of seminars and workshops as it relates to the cable industry. And to understand the kind of money that is in that industry. And the party leader would have heard me articulate some of those things, both publicly and privately. And I tell people every day that when I was going to school, I always said to myself that I would love to see a real businessman become Prime Minister of Jamaica. And that's why I tell people that I am 100% behind Mark Golding. Because for me, it is the first real businessman, somebody who have made it into business, that is stepping forward to manage the affairs of this country. And it proves to me when he asked me to be the deputy shadow minister in the creative industry. Because OB, I love agriculture and I love tourism. But if we are going to turn this economy around and create millionaires in this country, enough millionaires to see the country become wealthy, it is going to be in the creative industry. And who are these people who are going to become millionaire? It is the regular you, the regular me, the regular average man on the street.
Youth and youth in a Valley Garden, Jonestown, Trenchtown, over there in the valley, Rega and the valley, and so on and so forth. The man for Greendale, Manchester, in Northwest Manchester, and all of those people.
On the ground, you have a whole heap of man right now, OB. We have a whole heap of song right. You have man who sit down and write movie. You have man who sit down and write play. You have man who sit down and write little skits. The creative industry is for you. When I talk about this $30 billion, it's you who make it. Yeah? So what it is, Conrad, the creative industry right across the world is valued at over $3 trillion US. And by over 50 million people in high-paying jobs. Jamaica, which I call a creative country, because you see how we laugh every time you hear a new DJ rise, every time you hear a new singer come, we roll them off like we have a conveyor belt.
Absolutely.
Sports is a part of the creative industry. But the party leader in his wisdom realized that sports is growing, not getting the attention it's supposed to, but the other parts of the creative industry have been left behind terribly. And therefore, he realized that there is money to be made. And I'm saying to the people of Jamaica and to the people of East Portland, what we are bringing to the table is how to monetize the creative industry for Jamaicans. And that's why I'm saying, for starters, and the 30 million OB is not the end of it. That's for starters. Because right now, Jamaica is making 0.0046% of what the creative industry is valued. And I'm saying, for starters, under the first term of a People's National Party government, we must aim for 1%. 1% of that $3 trillion is $30 billion US. Jamaica will become a wealthy country. No, it's not just talk and it happen. You have to know what to do. Colin Bell knows what to do to start making that money. Yeah? And therefore, putting it out there that the People's National Party forming the next government will invest heavily in the infrastructure of the culture and the creative industry. The People's National Party will do what needs to be done to make that money. So I'm saying to all the youth across Jamaica, not just in East Portland, but right across Jamaica, that you want to know what the PNP will be offering you, we will be putting 30 billion US on the table. It is up to every Jamaican, whether you are 100 or you are 5 years old, to make your share of that $30 billion. A lady, before you go, a lady, are you a lady criticizing that me say 5-year-old can become millionaire and not no go so? And also I'm just going to explain a simple part of it. Every child that you see in a movie gets paid, and them not get a little bit of money. I leave it there.
That is true, Colin. What you just mentioned, Colin, what this mean for the man who would cook a pot of soup out there at an event in Eastern Portland? What that means? What you just said? What it means for that person?
It means, Obi, that once there's more money in the economy, once more people have more money, if your pot of soup used to take 8 hours to sell off, you're going to now sell it off in 2 hours.
So you can sell several pots of soup.
Because, mark you, gastronomy or food, people who cook the food, part of the industry.
A massive part. There is nothing without food.
If you make a dance, you put on a round robin, you are a part of this industry. You make a show, you are a part of it.
Absolutely, you're having a breakfast meeting that you're going to need to have more and more of those breakfast meetings. It means food. So all the agriculture sector, everything dovetail into that, Colin. I want to commend you on the effort that you're showing in this and the talent that you possess, Colin, in showing that you understand this industry. So indeed, Colin, it seems to me that there is a definite go and with you, the People's National Party. Seems as if you have a glorious chance of basically ushered the constituency of Eastern Portland back into the column of the PNP. Would you agree with me on that?
Definitely, Obi. And I want to say to people, when you hear me talk about the World Reggae Park on Navy Island, that is also positioning East Portland to get its share of the creative industry in a big way. Because I am not going to be pushing the creative industry and 30 billion US coming into Jamaica and East Portland and get one little piece of the cheese. We have to get a big part of the cake. And remember that UNESCO has named Jamaica the place for reggae years ago, I think from 2017. And until now, we have not been able to do anything with that branding to bring any kind of economical wealth to the reggae industry or to Jamaica. And it is because we have analog politicians operating in this digital age and have not been able to capitalize on those branding. It is too branded. Watch this, Obi. The Blue and Jankro Mountain has also been branded World Heritage Site, and we're not from it again because we have analog politicians operating in digital age.
I couldn't agree with you more, Colin. We're opening the phone lines now. You can remind the persons of the number, Colin. But one question coming in, Colin. One person asking, what's your relationship with the average man on the ground?
Obi, as I said to you, I play sound system from at 13. Yeah, and I still play music. I still got every party. And that is where my strength is. The man on the ground. And them me lean pan. And them have my back. The man on the ground, the average man in the street.
They're the wind beneath your wings.
And me and the grassroots, man. If you talk about grassroots, and me name grassroots. You know, I said to somebody last Sunday evening, I say, you know me grew up from zero, nothing, one pair of shoes, which is my church shoes, my school shoes, and my going out shoes. And when the ballot
had a permanent shoes, you're barefoot.
You better know. I hear some argument about you're going like you're better than people. I cannot be going like me better than nobody, OB, because I know zero. I know broke. A whole heap of morning me used to wake up broke.
Hungry.
But I don't talk. But Obi, we have a call on the phone. And I want to talk to you at the hospital as well. Because at one point I was the chairman for the Port Antonio Hospital Management Committee. I was also the first vice chair for the PDC for over 7 years. I have served on the Chamber of Commerce of Port Antonio for over 8 years. So I've been serving my people. But we have a caller a whole long time. So
record is good. All right, welcome caller. Any a question for Mr. Bell or a suggestion, please? Caller?
Hello?
Yeah, man, go ahead, caller. You hear Moby?
Yeah, I'm hearing the caller. Go ahead, caller, please.
Well, Mr. Bill, as a Portland, I don't think this problem is not people not knowing, you know. I think part of the problem that is affecting you going forward now is that some of the persons who you socialize with and the thought they were your friends, they are the persons who now telling people that never support you because you don't have anything and that's something you have to go look. Those are the type of argument and the type of discussion because I can tell you, if you travel the constituency, the persons who have the biggest problem with you are the people in and around Port Antonio, where you and them use friends. Abroad. And they are not bold enough to tell you certain things up front. But it's not discussion with them. You imagine say they may have man who used to be coming with after things like these. Let me tell you something. You see this thing, we have a lot of persons who have the opinion that if a dog comes from Montego Bay, he's a better dog than one dog with ball and go next door yard. A part of the problem where they must suffer from. You see, because they know you and know where you come from, they can embrace your success. They themselves couldn't put up for themselves because they know they would have no traction at all. But the fact that you put up yourself, they are willing to cut you down. If you are willing to go to the trenches, that's what you do. But I mean a politician, you are a politician, but why not support the man that you want to
Caller,
yes.
caller is hearing me.
Yeah, man.
You hearing me, caller? You're a member of the. You're in the constituency, right? Are you in the constituency?
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Good, and you know Mr. Bell well, right?
Yes.
All right, and you think he will make a very good representative for Eastern Portland?
He certainly will, because let me tell you something. It makes no sense parachuting somebody in a constituency that doesn't even know the ins and outs of the constituency, the needs of the people, how the people live, what area they need assistance in to have a better life. Idea where you have a party for argument's sake, where don't even maintain a good constituency office when they are out of power. But close to an election, they want the chairman complete up the office and then I will excitement. And if the person win, then go on again and the constituency office running system. That kind of politics is where we move away from. The man who has been here, running the grounds, up and down, connecting with the people. Why not put some resources behind the man to assist with getting people numerated? And also having regular staff meeting, selling the vision to the people, rather than trying to go on the pool to say who have traction or who have the traction. What part of the secretariat job to ensure say if a candidate is willing to do the work, you help him to get traction, not to find somebody who will become interested because in a female the party looks favorable, so you don't think on the party, the code of the party, the code tail of the party. We need to move away from that as a people, and we're supposed to support it.
Caller say a lot there, Shaka. I know we have many more callers. Maybe you want to, I don't know if the caller up there, Shaka, or you want to take someone else or ask the caller to rap.
Is there anything else you want to say, Wilson?
Oh, it's Wilson. Okay.
Yes. All I'm saying to you, I'm not feeling so well this morning, so my voice kind of a little bit off.
That's all right.
Okay, that's why I didn't recognize the voice, really. Hi, Wilson, how you do? Well, you say you're not so good this morning. I wish you a speedy recovery.
Tell us something. I was in Buffalo. You know that meeting in Buffalo?
Yes.
I was at that meeting.
Yeah.
And I came because I wanted to have a feel of what was happening.
Yes.
And I was standing, I came with a friend, but all of us came. And we were standing together. Didn't know anybody who was around us. And I heard a man from Port Antonio pointing out, he must touch me and he said, Master, you notice something? And I said, what? He said, notice a city councillor never make a speech. I said, yeah, I notice that. You know, he might not at all. He said that is very important, you know. Alright? He said, what more to do? I was watching the conference the other day. And the same person was around the table. I was at a watch. Some friends and the same persons was giving you some big stick. I'm just saying, you want to be organized. But you're telling this other man. Don't be daunted. The reality is,
Elaine Brown is saying from the first time she saw Colin, she dubbed him as future MP.
look here, SHACKA.
Yeah, man. That's my question finished. Yes.
So you put yourself out.
Yeah.
Make the body out of fire.
Yes, brother. Yes, sir.
And continuously pick up support.
All right, my brother. Respect.
One love, Willow. One love, one love. Yes, so we're seeing message coming up, Willow. Colin. Elaine Brown. Is it Elaine? Yes, she's saying from the first time she heard Colin, I dubbed him as future MP. All right, so the phone line's open. We can take a few more calls. Can you can share the numbers, Colin?
Yeah, man. 804-7072. You can call us on WhatsApp this morning.
All right.
Tony,
so
go
Colin,
ahead.
all in all, you're a big part of the work, as you know, is staying with the people, doing your enumeration and so on. How is your team, Colin? How is your team?
Well, we have a caller. Tony, you're live.
You were on the board at the Port Antonio Hospital, the things you were done to the hospital while they were.
Go again, Tony.
So that show them the art and the soul they have for Port Antonio.
We didn't hear the first part of what you said, Tony. Conrad was talking.
My grandfather is from one of the best parish.
All right, sir. Respect. Tony was talking about the work that I did at the hospital. OB, I was asked by the late Dr. Bloomfield to be on the hospital management committee, and when the fire get hot, the chairman basically had to leave the island, and he left, and I was asked to chair, and we did some great work. I have to say thanks to Dr. Fenton Ferguson. The central air condition unit that is at the Port Antonio Hospital was because of our lobbying and the work of Dr. Fenton Ferguson. We got a central unit in the Port Antonio Hospital that the operating theatre could operate on a regular basis. When I was there, OB, no ward on the hospital had a refrigerator to keep medication that needs to be refrigerated. We put on a fish fry, and I tell you something, OB, on the day of the fish fry, we had all the refrigerators that we needed to get on the wards of the hospital. So we have been working for this constituency over time, and we will not stop.
Indeed, SHACKA. And it's instructive that you mentioned that, because it is now when we are hearing that about $70 billion, that's 70 with a B, $billion cannot be accounted for properly, that has been spent by the Ministry of Health, and the minister still has his job this morning. Tell me where else in the world could that happen? All right. Wow. SHACKA, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm unable to see. There is a message there that coming in. Some messages coming in. Don't know if you can look at it while I retrieve my spectacles. Let me try and get my glasses.
The person is saying that Mr. Bell seems to love this parish and appears to be qualified. But what healthcare sector didn't take 80, or is he saying that healthcare sector didn't take 8 years to crumble, and not one government, or well, they said not under one government, don't come for me. No, you see, we are not saying that the health sector was hunky-dory, you know. We're not saying that. But the truth of the matter is that if you are doing it for 8 years, you must do some things to develop the thing and to get it better. Because where it is that people maybe not satisfied why they put you in there. And you have
let us put things in perspective. And I hear this kind of argument, and it's about time Jamaican people start to have some respect for ourselves, you know. This government is in office for 8+ years now. When you look and you break it out, for the last 17 years, they're in office for 13 of the last 17. Exactly. The fact is that we're talking about $70 billion cannot be properly accounted for. A baby died at Mapen Hospital last week because there weren't a working ventilator. Right? There wasn't one there. Hold on, Colin. We had a lady down in Trelawney, that could not get to the hospital because of an ambulance not there. The counselor over there in St. Thomas. Go ahead, Colin.
There is no ventilator.
I'm sorry, 700 billion. I'm saying 70. 700 billion. Thanks for the correction, Canon.
There is no ventilator at the Port Antonio Hospital. I want the people to know that. None.
So this argument about two government and it wasn't this and so on and things like that. The fact also is that there was never ever a time that more money made available to the health sector than now. But we have not seen where it is being spent properly. 21 billion and counting spent on Cornwall Regional Hospital so far, and not one additional bed space there. Come on, have some respect for ourselves.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We deserve better.
Go ahead, caller, the line's open. You can call.
We deserve much better, Conrad. Much better we are getting. And I am ready to defend the people of East Portland. I am ready to advocate for all that we want. In fact, Obi, you want to see the road to the Port Antonio Hospital now. And I am calling on the Member of Parliament to address the road to the Port Antonio Hospital right now. It is the
absolutely, Colin. The fireman Conor O'Brien here, along with Colin Anthony Bell and Sport and Spice TV this morning. We speak truth to power, no matter who the guy is. And Colin, we have to put it out there, as I said, over and over. And you don't have to say this because you're a member of Parliament perspective. I am a practicing media personality, broadcast journalist, talk show host. So I can put it out there. I am saying that I am also serving notice to the People's National Party that if you go into office and you do create this kind of nonsense with taxpayers' money, I am going to call you out as well. Christopher Tufton, as Peter Bunting and Donovan Mitchell called for his resignation yesterday, I'm joining in that call. And also,
that's a late call, you know. I said to people long time, from $2.1 billion, from the man reached $10 billion, the man should have been a goner.
Well, put it this way, Colin. They're joining. They're joining with us. They're joining us now. They're making that call. So we want to commend them for joining.
and of course, we must give some credence to Dr. Alfred Daza. Dr. Daza, see you take out the whip and you start to ride. Congratulations, because let me tell you something, Conrad. Everything is about people. It is my love for the people why I'm entering politics, and my love for the people of Portland. Because let me tell you something, Obi. If the party leader call me tomorrow and say, "Well, may I send you a Westmoreland in a safe seat," I don't want it. I have no interest in running anywhere else but in Portland, Eastern Portland, because my vision that I receive from the Almighty is for Eastern Portland. It's not for Western Westmoreland. It's not for Central Kingston. It's not for anywhere else. So I'm not the kind of politician who is looking a seat, and anywhere I get a seat, I will take a seat. I am not that person.
And let us look at it, Colin. Let's just look at it from a visionary standpoint. And when I say vision, I'm talking about spiritual aspect and so on. You had reached out to many people to say, "Come, Eastern Portland is available." I remember, Colin, and I'm going to go there. I remember at one point, I said to a gentleman, we're not going calling a name, it's an educator. It was before the process of nomination opens, and people would say, "But Conrad, you're a media man, so you're so embedded in the politics. All of us have our political preference, right? Whatever you do." So I talked to the person. So I said to the person, "Shaka, I am reaching out to someone in hierarchy." And the person said, "Listen, he doesn't have to be engaged in the hard politics now, but go underground, start to do something, maybe a football competition, etc., etc." The person would have none of it. And then late in the day, you're hearing that some people would want to be coming now as a late Monday morning quarterbacker, when you, Shaka, had already done your work, embedded yourself with the people, do the heavy lifting, spent your resources, everything, and so on, and really and truly. And trust me, we have to have some conscience. And I also want to say to people, Shaka, that it is 63 seats in government, 63 seats, right, in the House of Representatives. The last time I checked, we have almost 3 million people live on the rock in Jamaica, and similar amount overseas. All of us cannot be on the party ticket as a representative. Some of us will be around the computer. Some of us will be sweeping the floor. Some of us will be carrying water to mix the drink. It's so the thing set. So if you not get a seat for run, don't badmouth the person who is there. Fall in line,
Obi,
and make it one big happy family.
You asked me about my team.
And I would commend that. What I said here about the PNP, I would commend the same thing for the Jamaica Labour Party as well.
You asked me about my team a while ago, Obi, and I want to say thanks to the Vision team, because I have a solid team around me, a team that keeps me grounded. I have a set of people around me who not afraid to tell me, say, "Shaka, no, that not gonna work." Yeah, a team that I tell you something. The team, it is female strong. How much man upon the team?
Well, the women have always been the backbone of the politics, you know, Shaka. I can tell you. When I was growing up as a boy, I remember a lady named Auntie Galley in Greenville, Manchester, Northwest Manchester, where Michael is the MP. And whenever Mr. Manley came around at that time, that's where he used to refresh himself, and so I never left the Galley house. And from that time until now, the PNP has always, and the politics generally, the women have always been the backbone. So I can understand your team very weighted on the sex of the female, Shaka.
So I have a solid team around me that They are hard-working people, and they are putting in the work. But Obi, Anthony B. do what say? Anthony B. have a song where say, nobody know how to plant the corn. To reap the corn.
Indeed. We know that song well.
And peace.
The Portmore man.
Come reap. No, Obi, let me tell you this. And you see, the people of East Portland, and I said it at the conference on Sunday, every Jack man and Ginny woman in East Portland know Colin Bell, knows of SHACKA fame. I don't know all of them. And I am currently walking to every one of them house. That's what I am doing for Obi. Me I walk them, and you know, more time when I go to some people house in Obi. So I go and knock. And I come and them say, yes. I'm say, my name is Colin Bell. Who? Colin Bell? What you about? So I say, I am the PNP MP candidate for the constituency. And and we start talk. And them say, all right, SHACKA fame.
Nobody want about the Colin Bell. SHACKA fame.
They don't know me, And when we talk to them, they say, all right, SHACKA fame. Listen, a long time me think you should have did in the politics. People are telling me, say, me should have did run from when? And me I said, no, but me never read.
But as your slogan goes, SHACKA, time come.
Yes. Me say, nobody ready. Because only politics takes thick skin. You cannot fit thick like a leather.
Am I welcome in East Portland, Colin?
Of course you are welcome in East Portland. Come, Obi, I'll tell you something. Come to East Portland. I will carry you around in the back of my vehicle. I don't want nobody to see in there. And you can hear how the people on the ground deal with a Colin Bell. Every man on the ground comfortable. So SHACKA, come here. SHACKA, stop, SHACKA. Me want to talk to you. Everybody is comfortable in car.
There's a lady out there in Eastern Portland, Colin. She are trying to speak in a guarded way, but she is known. She is known, and everybody know the work. She is associated with a tertiary institution. What's her name?
You're talking about Money Oates?
Yes, I find that lady to be rather dynamic, Colin. I've met her, but certainly from all accounts, she seems to be a hard worker, tough cookie. Tell me something about her.
Monique,
if you can.
I know Monique a long time now, long time. Monique was the parish manager in the local government election. Maybe the first time she was playing that kind of role, But Monique is ready and willing to give her all to the People's National Party and for the people of East Portland. And I want to say thank you, Monique, for the work that you have done for the People's National Party. And I know that the work has not ended. You are willing and ready to do more work for the party to ensure that Jamaica gets a government that is accountable, a government with integrity, with dignity, honesty, a government that is willing to put the people's interests first and foremost. So Monique is a hard-working comrade.
Colin, as we speak, I'm getting messages coming in, and people are asking, when you go on the ground or speak to people, or do they have any interest in the fact that the Prime Minister's filing has not been able to certify for concluding 3 consecutive years, and also that elicits 6, and they're also putting in the $700 billion that cannot be accounted for properly that's spent by the Ministry of Health. Are you getting feedback on those things?
Let me adjust something on that. It is $1.7 trillion overall.
Yes.
That is unaccounted for. Not just a 7 billion, 0.7 trillion. People are talking about these things, and people are saying that we need to keep at it. And it is picking up traction because people are of the belief that if you as the Prime Minister, if you can't adhere to the laws of the country, then what examples are you setting? So people are very interested in it. Some people don't understand it fully. So more time when I am on the road, I spend a little time and explain to them, break it down to them exactly what it is and what should happen. And the fact that there is a law, Obi, and don't forget that it is the Constitution that says that both Prime Minister and the leader of opposition, when their filings are certified, a summary must be made public, and that is the part that deals with transparency and accountability. And people are missing that critical part, that the Prime Minister's statutory filing, no summary has been made to the people of Jamaica for you and I to look at and say, oh, the Prime Minister value $10 or the Prime Minister value $30 trillion. We're not getting that opportunity. And you see the Prime Minister out there making up in face and bending up in face and behaving like people are making up things about him. Nobody need to make up anything about the Prime Minister.
Excellent point there, Shaka. I want to say put something to you just as we roll. Where viewers and callers, we are dovetailing everything this morning. Shaka, indeed, it's no secret that politics is an expensive activity. What about how is your fundraiser going? And we know that you're going up against people who are well endowed financially. What pitch are you making for persons to come on board with you and to help you in your financing of this journey?
All right, so Obi, we are planning some fundraiser, but none before August. We are getting in August. We are planning on getting into fundraiser. Right now, Obi, we have business people who are a part of the team, who are assisting me right now. In fact, one of the sweetest things to me the other day, when we had the symposium with the Honorable Anthony Hilton, a business called me and he said to me, Shaka, we have to be careful because this present administration, they are very territorial. And he said to me that I'm not coming to the symposium, but you have my support. He said to me, whatever the expense for the symposium is, that is my contribution to the symposium.
Oh my God! Let's heal that gentleman. They say you want to.
One of the most wealthiest businessmen in Port Antonio saw me the other day, and he said to me, Shaka, I told you to come and sit down with me, and you're not come yet. When are you coming to sit down with me so I can tell you what it is that I am going to put in the campaign? I said, I never know, say, yeah, give me. The man says, Shaka, he's from your run Satcom. Me, I watch your journey. And I am going to ensure that you won't have nothing. And this
Shaka, I'm an emotional person here. Don't make me cry and say.
I said to members of the team, and Shaka D said to me that, listen, me I carry you go talk to the man because I don't know where you wait upon. But Obi, I'm a humble man. I'm a very humble man. And one of the things about me that a lot of people don't know, and if I tell you on the ear now, people go and say, a lie Shaka tell. I'm a very shy person.
Well, Shaka, I'm going to say this to you. I have seen you at places, and you don't have to tell me. I pick it up. I recognize it. And one of the things that also as a result of that, you're not somebody who just run into someone.
No.
Like that. Some people, there's a lady that called me last night, Shaka. I'm not going to call her name because she asked me not to mention her name. She said that there's about 8 people in her family or that they are PNP. And she said that you don't talk to them. And I said, no, sir, I don't believe that. Shaka may be shy or so, but Shaka talk to everybody.
Everybody, Obi. And I hear an argument that my pass people and not call to them. And if I ever pass anybody and don't call to you, please accept my apologies. But the argument that I have never heard is that somebody called to me and me no answer. OB, me talk to everybody. Me line with everybody. And I am down to earth. As I said, I am shy, so sometimes, and talk about emotional, I tell you something. Sunday evening at the Prospect Conference, I shed a tear. And we make certain nobody never see. The introduction that I was given by Comrade Ryan Bailey, the MC for the program, really got to my heart. The man said he studied Lyndon Johnson. And Lyndon Johnson, one of the greatest presidents the United States have ever had. Many times. And not because SHACKA never win him seat. Don't mean say him can't win the constituency. And when I heard it. And I heard that coming out of Ryan, I said, my God, me never studied Lyndon Johnson. Whoop. But to hear it from him, and let me say something else to you, Obi. Julian Robinson ran first as a councillor and lost. And the general election after that, Julian Robinson won his constituency and continue to win that constituency.
Rest of history, as them say. Go ahead. No, man, go ahead. Conclude. Go ahead. Conclude.
I also want to say to the people that turned out to the Prospect Divisional Conference, I was humbled by the level of support. I was humbled by the level of support from the people of East Portland and the Prospect Division. I want to thank you because, I don't know if you realize that when I finished speaking, I had to say a word to the Almighty. Because, when people show up for your OB, when people turn out for your show up, you really have to, give them the... And it happened to me at the presentation, the kind of response I got from the people of East Portland and Portland. And people are saying to me, you do the work, and we are going to be there for you. I just want to thank them very much this morning.
Excellent. How were you received, and what did the GS said about you?
Well, the GS didn't really say anything, but I know that the GS sat there and he saw the response of the people of the Prospect Division and of East Portland. And, I had to beg them for a chance to talk.
I saw you had to be begging.
Hold on, give me a... Because the people, and I said to you, Obi, those who are talking, it is the people on the ground that will win the election for the candidate. No candidate can win an election on their own. It is the workers and the warriors of the party that will have to go out there. And I want to say to the people of Prospect and Port Antonio Division that you have serious work to do. You will have to also help in the training of the other workers across the constituency. Because, Obi, I hear Dalvas say it a number of times that nobody has ever run against him twice. Because they have them trickery with them use in an election, Obi. And if you don't know it, they're going to use it and beat you. I have had the experience in the local government election. I have seen it. I understand it. I know what they did. And I know what to do to counter it. And I will say the same thing for my comrade candidate down there in West Portland. She's now experienced. So the fact that we lost all 4 seats in West Portland and we didn't win any more in East Portland don't mean it was a failure. It was an experience that we got that will serve us well going into the general election, because we see the hanky-panky, we see it firsthand. And anybody that is going to go up against those tycoons without that kind of experience that we gain, we'll have a problem.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And why they wipe away all comers.
Good. Shaka, it would be remiss as you go there, as you went there, it would be remiss of me not to ask you about your two senior comrades over there, Mackenzie and Dexter and Wayne. How things they are a part of your team and putting in the work?
We are good now. And as you know, in the early stage, the support wasn't there. But Comrade Roland has always said that, Comrade Bell, once the party chooses you, I am 100% behind you. Comrade Mackenzie at first was, but Comrade Mackenzie is now saying that, listen, my focus is on winning the constituency. You are the candidate, may have your back. So, in terms of two senior councillors, we only have one PNP team in East Portland. And that team is going forward to ensure that East Portland is returned to the column of the People's National Party. Because the people who are there now, they don't even like us. Obi, I'll show you a simple thing. Why I'm convinced now that these people have no interest in us. There was a motor vehicle accident in West Portland where 2 students from Titchfield High School died in an unfortunate accident. And I am most upset about it because for years I have been saying that we need a school bus service for the children of Portland because they have to travel too far and pay too much to go to school. There are children who are paying $800 a day back and forth from school in OB.
You're talking about just the trip, the fare. You're not talking in lunch money. The lunch money not included.
$800 a day if they catch the right transportation. If they catch the wrong, if certain transportation miss them, it might cost them $1,000. And I've been calling for school bus service for our children in not just East Portland but the entire Portland, because there are children from as far as Anata Bay that come to Titchfield, and there are children from Millbank in the Rio Grande Valley that goes to Happy Grove. Yeah? So the 2 children died in the accident, OB. The morning after the accident, I made it my point of duty to go up to Titchfield High School, to mourn with them, to hug some of the children, to give them a word of comfort, because when I got there, I realized that one of the youth who died is a drummer. So you know that is close to me, who manage a band. And I was with them. No representative from the Jamaica Labour Party was present. None. They had a reflection a couple weeks after, which was planned and advertised. OB, Comrade Natalie Wright of the Fairfield Division and myself, we were present. We weren't on the program to talk. And we didn't go there expecting to talk. But just to show solidarity with the school community and the parents. We were there. Nobody from the Jamaica Labour Party. And I said to people that these people that are running the parish have no love for you. They don't business with you. It's all about them and themselves.
Selves.
And as East Portland, time come for us to unite. Yeah? Nobody now come and get love of everybody, Because like I love to say, Jesus Christ came to earth and he was crucified by man, the all-powerful God. And when Jesus came to earth, it also shows example. And I go further, Obi. When Pontius Pilate did his investigation of Jesus Christ, and he washed his hand, and he said, I find nothing wrong with this man. He said to the audience, as customary, we always release one. Who do you want us to release? Pontius, they would say Jesus. The people said Barabbas. So Now I go get the love of everybody. But I say to those people who are not in that love affair with me, or who don't believe that
the door is open. The door is open.
It's 1/10. But I said to them, you don't have to love me. Just respect me. Look at my work that I have put in. Look at the vision that I am proposing for Eastern Portland. And let us work together. I don't care grudge for nobody. And one of the problem people have with me, Obi, is that I speak my mind. But you see, anytime you don't tell you what's on my mind, Obi, I am done. You spoke about
absolutely, Colin, and let me just say that I am taking it that pitch that you just made. You're inviting persons who would have voted for the Jamaica Labour Party in the past,
100.
voted for PNP, people who have not voted for some time. You're inviting all of them to come on board. It's all about the vision for Eastern Portland.
You see, this one
yeah.
about Eastern Portland. This time you will have an MP from the people, of the people, for the people, that as MP will still be living with the people. And Obi put my things out there, you know, all that I want to done. And the people of Portland and East Portland, they are inspired. You know, people are coming to me and I say, Obi, people are coming to me and I say, SHACKA, if you get one of what you say you want to done, you know, East Portland gonna lead, you know. People are inspired when I talk about Reggae Park, when I talk about the statue of Nani in the town square, when I talk about the development of the East Harbour, when I talk about the upgrading of the Port Antonio Hospital, when I talk about building a new primary school to take 2 of our primary schools off the shift system, people are saying to me, SHACKA, if you get one of those things done,
visionary leadership, SHACKA. As we leave the people this one, because I think your time is normally 11 o'clock. We overshot that by about 12 minutes. SHACKA, coming in, because as we speak, my other gadget is blowing up, and some people are saying that the conference cycle in Eastern Portland normally ends round about July or so. That is to include your constituency conference. They're saying that, you know, they're asking question about that. Can you elaborate?
So presently we have already had the Fellowship Divisional Conference, the Fairfield Divisional Conference, and the Prospect Divisional Conference. The Port Antonio Divisional Conference will be on the 30th, and we are still sorting out
on the 30th of this month.
On the 30th of this month will be the Port Antonio Divisional Conference. I was sorting Chanel, so a date for that will be announced soon. The constituency conference will normally have it in August. Because
there again, SHACKA, you see the conversation. Some people who is carrying a line get it wrong, because I'm getting the information that it's always done and dusted, including the constituency conference, by July. I don't know, so I'm putting it here. But you are setting the record straight.
Let me tell you, the divisional conference comes to an end in June. All the conference supposed to end at the last day of June. Then the constituency conferences start July to August, and then September is national conference.
Indeed, we're aware.
Right. So that's how the conference cycle works. And but Conrad, I just want
you may go over a bit into July with the divisional.
You would have to get permission from the region to do that. So if a wants to keep its conference in July, they would have to write to their region and get permission to do that.
But will you be able to host, because I mentioned you, SHACKA, because this is another conversation that people now have to understand, that the parish council issue is over. So now the focus is on central government. So everybody will have to understand that whatever goes out now, SHACKA fame Colin Anthony Bell have to get a big presence there because you're shifting gear, as it were.
Let me tell you something.
Uh-huh.
I don't just have a small team. The workers of East Portland, wherever Bell goes, they want to go. Yeah? So every conference that is held in East Portland now comes at a cost to Colin Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Because when people call me and say, Comrade Mackenzie conference on Sunday, we want to go. You think me can tell them, say, no, them can't go?
And people talk about you bus people to conference. That's such a nonsense.
That's a must. I have
They
to
don't understand the politics. And this is amazing that these things come from people who would want to be standard bearer.
No, man, it's not an accusation. Colin Bell bus people to conference is a fact. So you understand? So that's not an accusation.
Oh my God!
Obi.
Yes.
The night the setup for Comrade Brian in St. Thomas took place. I had to go there.
But of course. This morning, Colin, is a treat. Have a caller?
Yeah, hold on. Before I go to the caller, I must tell you this. You mentioned about you having a discussion with an educator earlier. In January of 2023, I had a discussion with who wanted to come into East Portland as candidate. And he called me because of my position in the constituency, because of the work that I was doing. I suspect somebody tell him that if you want to go East Portland, you have to talk to SHACKA. So he called, we had a discussion for about 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the discussion, because I let him know that I wanted to represent, hold on, caller, I wanted to represent the constituency as well. But at the end of the discussion, you know what I said to the gentleman? I said, apply. And any one of us get the constituency will support the other.
Mm-hmm.
The gentleman did not apply. Because my gut feeling is that some survey was done and the constituency never looks so sexy. Caller, go ahead. Hello? Oh, we're missing the caller gone. So, Obi,
all right.
Let me tell you straight up, I am ready to work for the people of East Portland. Politics is not cheap, Obi. It costs a whole heap of money. Whole heap. And as I said to you a while ago, every divisional conference so far, last year and this year, my boss people got them. Yes. So it's not an accusation. I bus people to the Fairfield Divisional Conference that happened the week before the Prospect Divisional Conference.
If you never do that, SHACKA, you would be lame.
I bus people to the Prospect Divisional Conference. And on the 30th, I will be busing people to the Port Antonio Divisional Conference. Those two divisions, Obi, are the two divisions that we won in the local government election. I want to congratulate the two councillors, and I want to congratulate the workers. Yeah? They are my division. East Portland is my constituency.
Absolutely. Calling the individual, I don't know who it is, but
maybe they need to accuse me of burying people too. Because we bury our people. They need to accuse me of making house for people too. They need to accuse me of paying for exams for children. They need to accuse me of putting food on people's table. They need to accuse me of turning up at the setup and spending money. Accuse me of turning up at the grave digging and spending money. Accuse me of buying liquor for people round robin so that they can make money. Accuse me for being there to sympathize with people when they are in problem. Accuse me of standing up for the taxi operators when nobody else was there for them. Accuse me of representing the people of East Portland. Accuse me of getting things done for the people of East Portland. Accuse me.
Don't forget the water. Don't forget the water, Colin. Don't forget the water.
Getting water for people, buying pipe, give people for run water garden yard, accuse me of all these things. I stand accused.
Absolutely, absolutely, my friend. Well, Colin, who am I to say this? But certainly listen to you, I believe that I'm hearing from a visionary leader. And indeed, you have chronicled from whence you came. And I believe in you, Colin. People know you are a brethren, you know, Colin. So them are going to say, yeah, Colin, brethren. But this is not about a brethren. This is about looking at things from a real professional standpoint.
Obi, you and I became brethren, not because we grew up together, but because you heard me articulate a vision that resonates with you. Let's take this call.
Yes.
Call. Well, I'm gone.
All right. I don't know. Yeah, there's so, and you're correct about that, Colin, because, you know, you and I really developed a relationship because of your articulation of your vision. And indeed, you know, I spot winners in. I came under severe pressure for one Zalika Jess, that beautiful and hardworking young lady. Came under severe pressure. But now people will say OBO is right. This young lady reminds them of a young Portia Simpson Miller within the People's National Party. And I'm saying in you, Shaka, I am well pleased. I remember when I went out early in the piece, because I am the first person who have Mark Golden in studio doing a 2-hour interview conversation with him in my studio at New Star. The first person. And when I said to people that listen, Mark Golden showed a glimpse of Michael Manley. I wasn't saying that he's a Michael, but I said he showed glimpses of Michael Manley. You remember, Shaka?
Yes.
And a lot of people come at me and say, oh, we all say this, that, and rare. And to date, those same verses are saying, OB, indeed, you was correct.
Let's take a final call. Go ahead, caller.
Greetings, brother. How you doing?
Blessings, man.
Greetings.
Brother
Greetings.
You know, it's in simple Jamaican language. It's one generally in the time.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have to say.
All right, my brother. Respect. Yes, man.
Blessings.
I want to say to you, continue to do the hard, my brother. Your work, show yourself.
Blessings, my brother. One love.
Blessings.
Yeah, man. Obi, time.
One love.
Time come.
One love. Colin, it's a pleasure. Let me just say that invite persons to join me Monday at News Talk 93 FM at 9 o'clock. This Monday, I should have a very interesting guest. We are still fine-tuning that. But I can say to you that on Tuesday at 11:10, my guest at that time will be the Shadow Minister of Health, Dr. Dawes. He will be my guest on Tuesday. The man who you said has taken up the whip, Colin. And certainly, let us commend him. And you know why Dr. Dawes is so credible, Colin? Dr. Dawes is so credible because when the PNP was in office, he highlighted ills and so on. So nobody can say that, listen, you did not speak then. You know what they're saying? No, they're saying, but Dr. Dawes, when the PNP was in power, you said this was wrong and that was wrong. Of course.
And Conrad, I can resonate with that because a lot of people in Portland are saying to me, Shaka, you know why me rate you? When PNP in power, you used to talk. You used to talk. Not afraid to say that I'm a PNP, but I call a spade a spade. Truth, OB, is the mantra.
you know, Colin, let me tell you something. I am an old socialist. I love it. Listen, what is happening is that there are so many people who are purloining themselves on media and they are more labor right than Andrew Holness, Eddie Seaga, Bruce Golding, and Andrew Holness put together. I call all the leader of the Labour Party and Sangster, all of them put together. But they hide under the bushel.
Yeah, man,
I make no bones about it. I make no bones about it. I support the People's National Party. I'm not hiding it.
When I was
I support the people. Hold on, Colin, my friend. I support the People's National Party. However, when I'm around the microphone, I'm a consummate professional. And I said before, I speak truth to power. And I'm not afraid to ask the tough question of Mark Golding. I'm begging Andrew Holness an interview. You know, my Francis, you can set up an interview for me with the Prime Minister, please, me I beg you.
Obi, when I was on Styles, I declared myself early and I told people I am a paid up member of the People's National Party. Not just a member, a paid up member of the People's National Party. Obi, time come to go. We got to go.
All right, my friend.
Yes,
God
man.
bless you. Take care.
Thanks for the time. One love. Thanks to all the viewers and listeners who joined in this morning, all who send in their message and those who call. Have yourselves a wonderful day. See you next week. Blessings.